I'm sorry I didn't get to your luncheon, but I did. It's just too much.
It's the way
Your
life is.
breakfast.
Oh, no, it's coming up Sunday.
Oh, is this
Yeah,
Sunday?
it's Sunday, but it's all right.
Oh.
It's
especially the SC band.
Yeah, wasn't it good?
Yeah. At first I thought somebody was doing some music, and I said, wait a minute, we have a band.
You know, that's pretty old. Police band.
Yeah, and they said,
They make a lot of noise.
I thought we had the whole.
Like
The council will please come to order. Can we have a little peace and quiet in the council chamber? Let me point out that this is a meeting of the City Council for the City of Los Angeles on the 17th day of November, the year 2000. There are 15 council districts in the city. The regular meeting days are Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We are currently being viewed by cable subscribers throughout the Los Angeles area on channel 35, and we're also being monitored by council phone. I'm going to call upon, we have some presentations. I'm going to call upon Ms. Goldberg to make the first presentation.
Members of the, Mr. President, members of the council, oh, this thing's not behaving today. It is indeed my privilege and my honor to present to you a Nobel Peace Prize laureate, Ms. Rigoberta Menchú Tum. She is what we would say a true leader. As many of you may know, this Guatemalan woman won the 1992 Peace Prize in recognition of her efforts to bring about an enduring reconciliation among all sectors in the Guatemalan society, as well as for her defense of indigenous peoples' rights throughout the world. Guatemala has been experiencing decades of right-wing dictatorship, with the exception of 10 years during which Juan José Arevalo and Jacobo Arbenz were the elected leaders. The last of those two, Arbenz, was overthrown in a CIA-backed coup in 1954. Since that time, that is, since 1954, Guatemala has amassed the worst human rights record in the Western Hemisphere. Rigoberta Menchú came to understand the political dimensions of the problems faced by her nation and her people, and she vowed to declare her life as being dedicated to preserving the indigenous heritage of the indigenous peoples of Guatemala and to restore the basic rights of life, land, health, and education. Today, she is in Los Angeles promoting a foundation, the Rigoberta Menchú Tum Foundation, which has as one of its primary goals educating young students. In addition to which, The foundation defends and promotes human rights, particularly the rights of indigenous peoples, and the foundation actively supports the struggle for peace, the promotion of rights, and the values of indigenous peoples throughout the world. This foundation is aiding the return of indigenous Guatemalans who have been exiled since the early 1980s to the southeast part of Mexico. The process began in 1993, and since then, thousands of Guatemalans have been able to return to their homeland. The foundation provides technical and operational assistance in the acquisition of their new land. It also develops projects related to housing, education, healthcare, farming, training, as well as specific projects for indigenous women and children. Well, I could go on and on, because this woman has been honored by the General Assembly of the United Nations. She was present at the time that the General Assembly in 1993 proclaimed the year a year dedicated to supporting the rights of indigenous peoples throughout the world. But I will close here because there are many others to be presented with our resolution. And now therefore be it resolved by the adoption of this resolution, the Council of the City of Los Angeles does hereby pay tribute to Rigoberta Menchú Tum for her efforts to bring about an enduring reconciliation amongst all the sectors in Guatemalan society, as well as for her defense of indigenous rights in all the world, and does further commend Rigoberta for her untiring efforts in her mission to contribute to the recovery and enrichment of human values in order to construct a global peace ethic based on ethnic, political, and cultural diversity. And she does this by promoting the efforts of the Rigoberta Menchú Tum Foundation. I am actually presenting this on behalf of my colleague, Mike Hernandez, who is unable to be here today, but it is also signed by myself, our president, John Ferraro, and the city clerk. And we welcome you, bienvenidos a Los Angeles. We welcome you, and we thank you for being an inspiration to all of us who want peace and who want human rights protected throughout the world.
Excelentísimo señor presidente del Consejo, queridísima amiga y vieja luchadora Jackie Goldberg, queridos y queridas miembros del Consejo, en primer lugar, es un gran honor para mí estar aquí en esta histórica ciudad de Los Ángeles, donde hay una enorme cantidad de amigos, amigas, compatriotas de Guatemala, de Centroamérica, de América Latina, y también hay un número importante de hermanos y hermanas mayas. Así que me siento muy honrado estar aquí con ustedes compartiendo esta mañana.
To the Honorable President of the Council, to my old friend and great struggler for rights, Jackie Goldberg, and to the dear members of the City Council, it is a great honor to be in this historic city of Los Angeles today, where I have so many friends and compatriots from Guatemala, from Central America, and from throughout Latin America, a city that also has a growing number of Mayan brothers and sisters. And so today it is a great honor to be here.
Y decirles que todavía para mí es grande el honor de portar este testimonio de amistad que algún día lo quisiera ver en un templo de las culturas, donde esté el testimonio de la amistad, la solidaridad de los pueblos. Así que gracias por este reconocimiento y lo portaré conmigo y la historia de Guatemala durante todos los años venideros. Entiendo que esto es una muestra de amistad y de relación fraternal.
I want to thank you. It's a great honor for me to be able to receive this testimony of your friendship. I hope that someday it will be placed in a great temple of the cultures, and it will show the history of the friendship and solidarity of the many peoples from around the world. And so thank you again for this great recognition, and it will be a part of Guatemalan history showing the solidarity and friendship of your people toward us.
Durante los últimos 20 años me ha tocado cruzar fronteras, pero no solo las fronteras físicas, que también es muy difícil cruzar las fronteras territoriales, pero también me ha tocado cruzar las fronteras culturales. Y por eso creo que hoy el mensaje que más deseo dejar en esta ciudad es el homenaje a la diversidad cultural de sus pueblos, el homenaje a la identidad propia de cada uno de los compatriotas, hombres y mujeres que están aquí, y el homenaje al respeto mutuo que tiene que hacer la población y que tiene que hacer también sus autoridades.
For 20 years, I have been crossing borders, not only physical borders, which are in and of themselves quite difficult to cross sometimes, but also cultural borders. And so today, I want to bring a message that pays homage to cultural diversity, that pays homage to the identity of every individual, and pays homage to mutual respect, which is something that must be practiced by people and also by their authorities.
Y finalmente, quiero decirles que yo siempre estaré con sus luchas, con sus esfuerzos, con sus avances, y espero volver muchas veces en el futuro en esta ciudad de Los Ángeles. Muchas gracias a la señora Jackie, a nuestra amiga Jackie, le deseo mucho éxito en sus nuevas tareas. Sé que ella va a otro lado, pero siempre estará con nosotros. Muchas gracias.
And finally, I want to say that I will always be here with you in your struggles and your efforts and in the progress you make. I hope to come back to Los Angeles sometime soon. And I also want to particularly thank Jackie Goldberg and wish her great success in her new position. I know that she is leaving us, but she will always be with us.
The chair recognizes Mrs. Mistakowski for an introduction.
I would like to ask the students from Nessel Avenue Elementary School, who are here almost in the front row, to stand and be welcomed by the council. They are a group of fifth graders who are visiting City Council with their teacher, Elaine Cohen. And I wanted to tell the council, I visited Nessel Avenue Elementary School in Tarzana and saw a great project that the school put together with a garden project where they took an old patch area of asphalt and weeds and now have a student farm, a student garden, and the neighbors themselves participate. So it's a connection between the community and the school, and I'd like to welcome the students to City Council. Thank you for coming. Do you want to my presentation?
Alex has a presentation. Mr. Padilla for a presentation.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, colleagues. It is really my pleasure to present the following recognition after that inspiring presentation by Councilmember Goldberg. We're all familiar with the saying, think globally and act locally. And I think Rigoberta Menchú is, or has been, an inspiration to many in calling upon our attention to struggles and battles in her country that are reflective of struggles and battles that certainly exist throughout the world. And for those of us in Los Angeles, it can inspire us to action. It can inspire us to want to be involved. And in the end, I think there's an organization, among others, that really encapsulates the other half of that saying, which is to act locally. So this presentation is to Los Angeles Neighborhood Housing Services, which as an organization works in many of our council districts, in some of the most challenged council districts, some of the poorest council districts, some of the most disenfranchised communities in our city. And I have two recognitions to present today, one to the organization and one to the gentleman standing beside me. Jorge Valle, I want to especially recognize because Neighborhood Housing Services has been around since 1984. And they've involved themselves with community organizing, empowerment and education of residents. They get involved with small business lending. They get involved with real estate. They get involved with public improvements. And one of their annual, if not biannual events is what they call Pride Day. And Pride Day has taken place in several communities, including for 3 years in a row now in Pacoima. And what they do in Pride Day is they select a block and they outreach to the residents and organize the residents, educate the residents, inform the residents, and in the end, involve the residents. From everything as simple as, let's put a fresh coat of paint on the house, to what's the process necessary to get street lighting on our block, to, in the era of charter reform and neighborhood councils, organizing some 82 block clubs throughout the city of Los Angeles. So I think the organization is exemplary in that respect. But Jorge Valle, I wanted to give a special recognition to because, as we all know, this all takes work. And at the end of the day, it requires a lot of soles on your shoes and door-to-door knocking and late-night meetings and gatherings in backyards and garages. And if it's the summertime, it's too hot. If it's the wintertime, it's too cold. But through all of that, Jorge has persisted. And to his credit, we have had successful Pride Days in Pacoima for several years now, and we look forward to many more to come. So with that, I want to invite him to say a few words and present these certificates of appreciation to LA Neighborhood Housing Services and Jorge Valle.
Thank you very much.
You want to say a few words?
To your honor, President of the City Council members, and specifically for Council Member Alex Padilla, we thank you very much for this great honor. If every day is going to be better, this past October 14, when we did our Pride Day, it was one of the best Pride Days I ever had. Council Member Alex Padilla helped us greatly to organize the community, also to put some trees in the street, to get some lighted in the street, and to lay some salt. Not only that, the street was resurfaced, and we have some access ramps built. So it's great to work together in a community effort, and I thank you very much for your participation and your great honor on this day. I'd like to introduce Nina Schulman, who is my co-worker in the area of Crenshaw. She is also very, very active in that area. Thank you.
And apparently she's shy, so Mr. President, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Padilla. Mr. Ridley Thomas?
Lisa's gonna call him. Right.
Mr. President, members of the council, I have the distinct honor and pleasure of bringing to your attention someone about whom all of us had the opportunity to read, and we are fortunate today to have her in our midst. I speak of no one other than Dr. Indisha Ida Mae Holland. And if you'd come forward, we'd be appreciative. Mr. President, members of the council, I make this presentation on behalf of Mrs. Walters, who I'm quite confident is most unhappy that she couldn't make it today, but I appreciate her affording me the opportunity to share this extraordinary witness with you. You may recall that it was last July that Dr. Holland was featured in the LA Times magazine. Ms. Walters, I wish you to know that it was such a moving article on her accomplishments and sacrifices that she could do no less than invite her here today to share her extraordinary life witness with us. She was born and raised in Greenwood, Mississippi, where she grew up in an environment of poverty, racism, and violence. And thanks to an education, thanks to the civil rights movement, and thanks to the vigilance and the undying love of her mother, all of those things combined propelled Dr. Holland to rise above the rather bleak childhood and other devastating obstacles with which she was faced. Dr. Holland recently published a memoir entitled From the Mississippi Delta. She describes what fostered her active role in the civil rights movement and the voting rights movements. And you also would want to know, Mr. President, that Dr. Holland is a celebrated playwright and professor at the University of Southern California, where she holds some say fight on, others say right on. She holds a joint appointment there in the School of Theater and the USC Gender Studies program. And so on this very special day, and on behalf of my colleague Rita Walters and the entirety of the Los Angeles City Council, we take this opportunity to present to Dr. Indisha Ida Mae Holland this very special certificate to say to you that we recognize you, we respect you, and we will forever remember your incredibly impressive, extraordinary life journey and witness among us. Mr. President, members of the council, I would also like to take this opportunity to thank and recognize the good work, the hard work, the quality work of the writer who brought this extraordinary story to our consciousness. She is none other than LA Times magazine journalist, in this instance, the one and only Jocelyn Stewart. You may recall that we had the benefit of her being documented by way of photography. That was done by our own Pulitzer Prize photographer, Clarence Williams, and we have him here today, and we want to say thank you to him as well. Clarence? Ms. Stewart will represent.
Thank you. It was an honor to be able to write about Dr. Holland. Very often we have to write about stories that are not very pleasant, that don't have pleasant endings, but in the case of Dr. Holland, her story is so very triumphant that in and of itself, it says more than many of the other stories that I've had to write about, because there is a circle here. And I just want to thank Dr. Holland for allowing me to write about her.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the council.
Miss.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to invite the students who are here from Van Nuys High School to join me today to be presented to the council. Members of the council, I have the privilege today of introducing some truly outstanding young scholars, all of them students from Van Nuys High School, who have distinguished themselves by their academic excellence. These before you are all semifinalists in the National Merit Scholarship Program. These are young people who I expect we are all going to be hearing a lot from in the next coming years. Members of the council, I know we probably all remember SAT, the Scholastic Aptitude Test. It's the first time that students in an academic culture take an examination that measures them against all other students in the nation. And members of the council, what we have today before you are there actually were 16 Merit Scholarship semifinalists from Van Nuys, the highest of any number from the whole Los Angeles Unified School District. And I want to reemphasize that these young men and women scored in the top 2% nationally, and they all came from one high school in the Valley, in the city of Los Angeles, Van Nuys High School. One of them, in fact, Daniel Hunwoo Lee, who I think is here, Daniel, scored 1590 on the SAT test, which is a maximum score of 1600, so almost the perfect score. Members of the council, these are truly outstanding young people, products of our Los Angeles Unified School District, all from one school in San Fernando Valley. And I'm very pleased to present them to you today and present each of them with a certificate of commendation from the council. Along with them is Diane Klewitz, who is the assistant principal at Van Nuys, and Bob Tucano, their magnet school coordinator. I don't know if either Ms. Klewitz or Mr. Tucano wants to speak on behalf of the students, or one of the students wants to speak before I present each of you your commendation. Any comment?
Thank you very much. We accept this honor. And I'd like to just note that an awful lot of bad things get said about the public schools. I'd just like to take this opportunity to say that every once in a while we do get things right, and I think these students are proof of some of the good work that we do. I accept this honor on behalf of the students and on behalf of their teachers. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nakano. And let me now call each of the students forward one by one. There's 14 of them, because I think they do deserve that recognition. I think all of us remember taking the SAT and maybe remembering what our score was, because it is that first moment of really competition on really a national stage, and what these students have accomplished is really remarkable. So I commend them all as being semifinalists, scoring in that top 2% nationwide on the preliminary Scholastic Aptitude Test. Janice Chang. Thank you. Jiwon B. Choi. Chun Hao Chow. Min Tujan T. Do. Nahi Huang. Thank you. Jane Kang. Rita E. Kim. Scott M. Kim. Daniel Hunwoo Lee, the 1590 score. Thank you. Grace Lee. Jonathan S. Lee. Christina J. Park. They've all got great smiles, too. Hee Sil Ji Sung. And Pacharan Tritipeskul. Very good. Members of the council, thank you for honoring these students who I, again, think we will be seeing in the future. These are among the finest in the country in scholastic aptitude. They've got great futures ahead of them in their college careers, and I'm sure beyond that, and hope that they all stay and contribute and become adult members of the Los Angeles community. So thank you very much. We'll go in the back and take a picture.
Cindy, hurry back, we'll need you. Is there any other presentations? If not, call the roll and call Padilla.
Bertson, Fiore, Galanter, Gober, Hernandez, Holden, Pacheco, Padilla, Ridley, Thomas, Florence, Wax, Walters, Ferraro, 10 members present and quorum, Mr. President.
Okay, the first order of business.
Approval of the minutes.
All right, Mr. Padilla moves, Mr. Fiore seconds. There's no objections, unanimous vote. Next item.
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
There's no objections, unanimous vote.
On the regular agenda, item number 6, a request from Los Angeles Housing Department and Council District 1 to have that matter received and filed.
Item number 6.
Yes.
There's no objection to item 6 will be received and filed.
Mr. President, items number 1 through 5 are items for which public hearings have been held.
Number 6?
Yes. I think Mrs. Chick moved that. Did you say Mrs. Chick?
I'm sorry, I made a mistake on what number I was looking for.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Okay, 6 has been received and filed. We have 1 through what?
1 through 5?
1 through 5. Anybody want to be held on that?
Want to continue item number 3 1 week?
That'd be November 28th.
If there's no objections, unanimous vote. Any others? We have 1, 2, 4, and 5. Prepare the roll. Tabulate the vote.
10 eyes.
Next item.
Items number 7 and 8 are items for which public hearings have not been held. I believe there's a card in number 7.
Number 7, we have 2 cards, Mary Shine and Jocelyn Seagrave. Mary Shine and Jocelyn Seagrave, would you take the center microphone? Forthwith on number 1. Would you start speaking, please?
Yes, just 1 second, Mary. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mary Shui. I live in America for 20 years. I had 3 kids. My son is in the Marine and my 2 daughters are full-time students in college. Today I came here on behalf of my people who are suffering mentally and physically because of the torturing by the brutal military government in Burma. In 1988, this military government murdered more than 6,000 people. Most of them were students. It hurts me a lot because I was a teacher before. The people have no human rights nor freedom. People live in fear every single day. The Honda has ignored the 1990 Democratic election results in which the National League for Democracy won more than 80% of the legislative seats. The illegal Honda tried to expand the world heroin trade. Most of the heroin seized on U.S. streets is from Burma. The military government is the worst human rights abuser in the world. I hope that City Council will continue to give pressure to this brutal military government. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Jocelyn Seagrave.
Good morning, council members. My name is Jocelyn Seagrave. I am with Burma Forum Los Angeles. I'm also half Burmese. I would just like to urge you to please support this motion. You all have been wonderfully supportive of the democracy movement in Burma in the past, and we simply plead with you to continue that support. The situation in Burma is getting worse, not better, with time. There are increasing number of arrests of the National League for Democracy Party without due process, and it's a very desperate time for the Burmese people. Please support this motion and continue in the noble stance that you've taken in the past. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Alex. Okay, that closes the public hearing. Any discussion on this item? Ms. Goldberg?
I just wanted to mention that we do have the listing of investors from the Investor Responsibility Research Center, so we know what the companies are. This is not an ordinance, but a motion that requests that the Board of Pensions fund to divest from those companies that don't stop doing business there directly. That the human rights situation in Burma is getting worse. Aung San Suu Kyi, just a few weeks ago, was again prevented from traveling, as are many National League for Democracy leaders and have been detained, actually, in recent days. The democratically elected leadership of Burma, led by Nobel Peace Prize winner Aung San Suu Kyi, have been repeatedly call upon corporations to stop investing in Burma as long as the illegal regime remains in power. We have already agreed to take a stand on Burma. 60% of all the heroin in the United States comes from Burma, and therefore helping them get rid of the dictatorship by doing what we can, which isn't much, but which could divest some of our pension funds from those companies doing business there, will at least take a moral stand on this issue, and I urge a unanimous vote.
Anyone else want to be heard on this? Item number 7. If not, prepare the roll. Tabulate the vote.
10 eyes.
That is approved. Forthwith. Mr. Ridley Thomas for a presentation.
Oh, Mr. President, members of the council, this is the day that many of us wait to participate in, and I make this presentation on behalf of our colleague, Rita Walters. You may note that today marks the 21st year that Southwest Airlines and the Department of Aging have made it possible for 25 senior citizens in the city of Los Angeles to reunite with families and friends throughout the country. The recipients were selected by staff of Southwest Airlines and the Department of Aging from applications that were distributed throughout the senior network, including the various senior multi-purpose centers. Southwest Airlines has been recognized by national leaders for its promotion of Home for the Holidays as an outstanding community service program. Since its inception, thousands of seniors have traveled throughout the country to visit loved ones during the holiday season. I'm proud of the Department of Aging, as I'm sure all of you are, that it is a part of this program, and I congratulate and commend both Southwest Airlines and the Department of Aging for their continued interest and concern for the welfare, the well-being, the quality of life for senior citizens in Los Angeles. And so it is on behalf of the City Council, the Mayor, that we present this resolution to declare the month of December Home for the Holidays Month for the senior citizens here in the city of Los Angeles. And I wish to congratulate all of you for being winners, and to say to both of you, thanks for your leadership, because this is what we like to do, provide good cheer during the holiday season and make it tangible in the life of the citizens of the city of Los Angeles. Ms. Smith.
Thank you very much.
All right. All right. Ann?
Thank you very much. I am happy that this is the 21st year that we're celebrating this, and hopefully someday someone will be standing here saying this is the 100th year that we're sending seniors home for the holidays. On behalf of the department, I'd like to thank Southwest Airlines for its continued support of our efforts to ensure the quality of life of our seniors. And I'd like to now introduce Tricia from Southwest Airlines to present the tickets to the seniors. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Tricia Narduzzi with Southwest Airlines, and I'm so happy to be here today to present to you our wonderful seniors who we are sending home for the holidays. If they can all please stand. As Mr. Ridley Thomas said, we have been sending seniors home to see their family and friends for 21 years now, and we are so happy to do it every year. And I'd love to thank the Department of Aging for their help and support in the program every year, and also to the City Council for your time and for the recognition. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ridley Thomas and Ms. Smith. Mr. Clerk, next item.
Item number 8.
Item number 8 is now before us. Number 8 is before us. Ms. Goldberg, did you want to be recognized on this item? I know Mrs. Chick, you did. Okay. Chair recognizes Councilwoman Chick.
Good. Thank you, Mr. President. In fact, this is my motion. Especially, I'm interested to hear from Operation Clean Sweep colleagues to make sure that we are doing as much as we can and giving the support that this very worthwhile program needs. We all recognize how important it is to remove graffiti in our districts and in our communities, and to remove it as quickly as possible. But as I drive through the West San Fernando Valley, and as I drive through neighborhoods throughout the city, and I'm curious to get feedback from my colleagues, I'm seeing graffiti worsen rather than improve. And I'm not critical at all of Operation Clean Sweep and their good efforts. What I want to hear in this report is, how are we doing? Do we need more resources? How is the city doing keeping city property and equipment graffiti-free? And how are we doing in terms of city departments working together and working with our public to be our eyes and ears? Because we all know that the only way to remove graffiti quickly is if people are calling in the location to us. So this report will be coming through committee. And then I'm hoping, as part of the mid-year budget perusal, if in fact we are not giving the adequate resources to removing graffiti within 24 hours in all locations through our city and being a zero-tolerance city, then we need to reevaluate the resources and give them more. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Chick. Is there any other council member that wishes to be heard on item number 8? Seeing no council member that wishes to be heard, Mr. Clerk, would you open the roll on item number 8 and tabulate the vote?
10 ayes.
That item is approved. Next item, Mr. Clerk.
Items number 9 through 12 on the agenda are closed session items. So now is the time for public comment.
Is there any person in the audience that wishes to be heard under public comment? I have no cards. Seeing no person that wishes to be heard, the public comment period is now closed. Next item, Mr. Clerk.
I have just received a special one motion by Ms. Misikowski and seconded by Mr. Ridley Thomas.
Mr. President, this is now being distributed. Basically, this is a motion. As we are all aware, yesterday we received the Rampart Independent Review Panel report with a number of recommendations, some of them consistent with some of the earlier reports that have been presented, but a very comprehensive list of recommendations from a panel of 190 community leaders who spent many thousands of hours in assembling this, doing interviews and the like. This motion is saying that since we received it yesterday, we didn't have the chance to act. I'm asking the council to suspend the rules so that we can act today, basically to direct ORS and the CLA to review the various police reform recommendations in this independent panel work, and also bring forward that along with all the other reform proposals so that we can create a matrix, start looking at them, analyzing them, having the council and the mayor act on those issues that are appropriate for us after we've had public hearing and consensus, look at those which might be proposed for city charter consideration, and also work with the police commission. I spoke with Mr. Chaliff just this morning, and Mr. Chaliff indicated that on Tuesday he was inviting members of the council to come to the police commission to also address a program and a schedule. This is not to immediately implement anything, but to get us together working on a schedule of review and consideration of the various proposals that have been put forward. So I ask for suspension of the rules and a unanimous vote on item 1.
You heard the motion to findings on this matter. Prepare the roll. Tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
That is approved. Now we have the matter before us. Prepare the roll. Tabulate the votes.
10 ayes.
That is approved. Forthwith on that. Next item.
Mr. President, items 9 through 12 are closed session items. Do you wish to clear the desk?
Yes. We do have somebody who wants to be heard on 11. Will they be heard? Teresa Tasker? Teresa Tasker, or whatever the name is.
Good morning. Hi, I'm Teresa Traber. It's a long room. I was in the back of it. I'm sorry it took me a while to get up here. I'm speaking with regard to the matter that you're going to be dealing with in closed session. I represent Mitch Grobson in his lawsuit against the LAPD and the city and a number of individuals. And I am speaking primarily to address the materials that we provided you earlier this week, in which we provided what is a comprehensive discussion of the settlement demand as it stands at this point in the negotiations. I just want to go through it very briefly with you so that you have a sense of what we've done here. Various issues were discussed orally with the city attorney's office and in writing in documents provided to the city attorney and to the city council, also to the personnel committee. And what we did was pull those materials together into one comprehensive statement of a settlement demand. You will see as you go through the package that, for example, exhibits A through C, which are proposed code provisions and proposed revisions of city policy, have been provided to this council and to the city attorney's office in July. Other examples are, for example, exhibits D, F, G, H, and I that are attached to the cover letter, all bring together recommendations made by the Sharon Hartman PII report, some of them with slight modifications that we've proposed in order to make them more effective and more practical in application. So those then put into particular subject matter areas with regard to training, with regard to recruitment, etc., pull together the proposals and our position on them that has been set forth in previous documents to you. Exhibits E J, and K set forth in writing and in more detail issues that have been discussed previously in the course of mediation and settlement discussions. For example, E sets forth a comprehensive policy on barring discrimination on the basis of HIV disease. Exhibit J sets forth our proposals with regard to amending certain provisions of the LAPD manual to ensure the exercise of First Amendment rights is not hampered by arbitrary decision-making. And K sets forth our proposals with regard to the monitor's position. Now, I just want to speak very briefly. I know you have a lot of details.
Please be very briefly, because we're going to lose a quorum, and if we lose a quorum, you won't have anything to do.
Okay. Yes, Mr. President. I just want to point out that at this point, there's a settlement agreement in place that has been in place since 1993, which requires the city to report on an ongoing basis with regard to its compliance with the terms of that settlement agreement to Mitch Grobson and to its attorneys. His attorneys. In the event that there is no settlement, you have the specter of not only the continuation of this lawsuit, but a Grobson 3, a Grobson 4, a Grobson 5, and ongoing. You have essentially a private consent decree without end. And what we are proposing here as part of this settlement is to not a consent decree at all, but rather a monitor's contract for a 4-year period, which gets Sergeant Grobson and his attorneys out of the business of monitoring the city, except to the extent that the monitor's contract has to be put into place, puts an expert in place to do this monitoring, and cuts it off so that it is only for a 4-year period. That's the core of the proposal.
Thank you very much. Okay, the public hearing is closed. All those not involved with the public executive session, please leave the council chamber. Okay, we're back in session. That's fine. Do I have to sign that? Okay, we're back in open session. What's on the desk?
Mr. President, item number 11, request to continue that matter till November 28th.
There's no objection, unanimous vote.
Item number 12, request that matter be continued till November 29th.
If there's no objection, unanimous vote.
Items number 9, A and B, recommendation of the city attorney to adopt the resolution as submitted by the city attorney.
Which ones are there?
That's the Shell Chemical and Phillips Petroleum Company.
Okay.
The recommendation, the city attorney submitted a resolution today.
And the motion?
A motion was made by Ms. Sikowski, Savornich seconded.
Unanimous vote.
Item number 10, recommendation by the city attorney to settle 29 cases for the amount of $10,950,000.
Prepare the roll. Tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
That is approved. Forthwith on that.
Mr. President, the desk is clear.
The desk is clear. Anything before the council? Anything before the council? Mr. Savornich?
Mr. President, members of the council, I would like to ask that we adjourn in memory of the father of Amir Sadadi, who is the council liaison for the Department of Transportation. His father, Mohammed Sadadi, passed away just recently from complications of a heart attack that he suffered earlier this week. He is survived by his son, Amir, and 2 daughters and his wife. They were residents of San Pedro, and on behalf of the council, I'd like to offer all of our sympathies to him and would ask all members.
Any others?
Yes, Mr. President.
President Martin.
Mr. Ridley Thomas?
Mr. President, members of the council, I ask that you join me in adjourning in memory of the Reverend Hosea Williams. Those who know the history of civil rights in the modern era know the name Hosea Williams as one of the veterans of the struggle to democratize America. He spent a considerable portion of his life in the southeastern portion of the United States working to break the backbone of segregation and never stopped until his last days. And for that, we owe him a great degree of respect and gratitude. His witness is well documented, and I thought it appropriate that we join his family and a host of those who loved him to bid him farewell.
All members on this?
Just a brief comment. I had just heard that he had passed. And there are people that if you have a chance meeting with in life, you never forget. And I did one afternoon in Chicago when I was a student there. And to say he was the consummate organizer is probably the understatement of the century. And yet the man's dynamism and commitment just inhaled you into whatever he was going. You felt like saying, if you lead, I'll follow. He will be sorely missed.
Call the roll. Yeah, thanks. Council is adjourned.